Okay, you want to go?
It's a shirt, I know.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get started. We are the Mavericks, Team 2252, out of Milan, Ohio. Rookie year was in 2007. Engineering was never this wild. Comes from the day that we found out we were going to have a team. I teach in a pre-engineering program at the Ovi Career Center. We were doing something called Lunch with the Leaders. So we were back at Cedar Point when the reliability engineer was placing the new roller coaster, the Maverick. And that's the tagline for the roller coaster. And so we got back and the kids had to decide what we were going to name our team, and that's how we became the Mavericks, and that's the story of our name. Again, I'm Jim McIntyre. I'm a teacher. I teach in the engineering program and an industrial technologies program at a career center in Maya.
Dan Langdon. I teach as well in both engineering and industrial tech. Year 5 with the team. Year 6. They don't run together anymore.
Tell them about it. I'm Alex Eckley. I'm an engineer, actually technically I'm a manager now. I've made the transition to the dark side. So, but I've also been with the team since our founding in 2007. And we've had very little mentor turnover over the years.
Yep.
So you and I, we've only lost one guy due to retirement and health issues. So that's part of our success, I think, is mentor core stability.
Yep. We only have to learn lessons once usually. Sometimes we repeat the same mistake twice, but okay, that's who we are. And we were rookies in 07, and Sierra Lobos is why we have a team. Sierra Lobos was recognized first before we ever knew that we could have a team. They approached the local schools. The owners there are just people that understand to give back to the community. So they seeked us out to sponsor us. We didn't go backwards, it's the other way. And so
Sierra Lobos is a school or a company?
the Sierra Lobos, where Alex works, you can take a little bit about their company.
Right, so we're an aerospace and defense contractor. We operate most of the test facilities at NASA, actually. So NASA Glenn, NASA Plumbrook, Goddard, quite a few facilities at Ames. So we're located right outside, maybe 2 miles down the road from Ehovie. But Glenn Research Center was really what sort of initially kicked off the company's interest. They said, hey, you guys need to do some community outreach as a contractor.
Right.
And became aware of FIRST through them. And eventually I got called into the mix, and the rest, as they say, is...
I think we were approaching 06, and our principal told him no. We weren't interested without asking me. I knew of FIRST because I'm a project lead the way teacher. That's engineering curriculum. And I went to RIT to take all my training. And at Rochester, Team 340, there's quite a few teams from that area. So some of the instructors that were teaching the Project Lead the Way classes, teacher training, you get to know them after school or after the classes, and they're telling us, hey, we do this neat thing called FIRST. And that's how we had heard of FIRST back in probably 03 when I was taking training there. We were built after school and weekends. We were a 2-year program, and we still are a 2-year program for both of those that Dan and I teach in at a career center. And our engineering program is housed at BGSU Firelands. I'm there in the morning teaching the seniors. Dan's there in the afternoon teaching the juniors. We basically wave at each other as we drive down the road when I'm going back to the career center to teach in another program, and he's coming to the college to teach in our engineering program. Anybody familiar with Project Lead the Way besides? Project Lead the Way is a curriculum. Very, very well done. I'm a big fan. Okay. So in 2009, the machining instructor at Ehovie retired. And I was the answer for the machine shop because I have a machining background. And that year we moved our team from building at BGSU Firelands to building at Ehovie Career Center. So we were very lucky. We not only have a machine shop at Ehovie, we also have a machine shop at the college. And so that's an advantage that some teams struggle to have, is having a machine shop.
And mentors with the experience to machine.
Yes. And so there's teams that do it all different ways. And really, a when Katie come up to us and asked us if we present here as robot designers, I was kind of floored because first off, we don't consider ourselves robot design experts. What we're going to share with you today is how we do things, and what we think is important, and how we do it. And at any point, if you want us to stop, see if we can open up a CAD model, talk about something a little different, please stop us, because I threw a lot of information in here. You tell me what you want more of, or tell us what you want more of, and we'll slow down or talk about it more. Being a 2-year person is tough. About the time you teach them what being on a team is and understanding what a little bit of a few concepts, and about first, then they're seniors and they graduate and they leave us. So we fight that constantly. We still fight that. In 2000, Lydia was a freshman in 2011.
Sounds right.
2011 was really the first year we had a freshman on our team. So, and then we had 2 that year. And turned out to be really 2 really good ones. But anyway, we'll talk more about that in a minute. And get them involved early is be a recommendation. If you can get somebody to get the bug early and really get engaged early, that's when you're going to get somewhere. Thoughts? All right. We believe in drawing our robot. We have drawn our robot every year. Autodesk Inventor, free educational download. There's all kinds of links to download it, and there's just a ton of tutorials out there from Autodesk, their YouTube channel, and from other people. 2012, I had a girl switch from the health program. It was going to be a senior to the engineering program. She learned CAD during build season and basically drew our entire robot that year. And I've got a book I'll share in a minute. We feel like it can be done. We feel like we just believe in that. And of course, if you don't know it, you can download kit apart CAD models. So you can download the whole kit apart, parts already drawn. You can also, almost every vendor from AndyMark to Vax Pro to all of the common FIRST Robotics mentors, you can download the CAD model. So it's already drawn for you, you can put it into assembly. It's just something we strongly believe in. I believe in that so much that if I did not know CAD and started a new team tomorrow, I would start learning CAD. But that's just what I think. Dan, add anything?
No, I mean, it's absolutely, I think, essential to getting your...
Now, we've made huge CAD mistakes. Magic happens in CAD.
That was going to be my question.
Parts go through parts, and we've made huge mistakes that we didn't figure out till we bagged our robot. So
CAD will allow you to defy the laws of physics and have 2 objects occupy the same physical space.
right.
Don't ask how we know.
We can talk about that. I have no problem talking about that.
And can I add one little thing that some of our students have done? Some of the universities now, when they start, don't teach CAD. So the students that did the CADing made some money being tutors. So
we have no problem.
in college, help pay some bills.
You can spot the kids that can do CAD. This particular girl, she just could visualize parts, and you get the right kid, and things can just really take off. If I was a new team right now, I would go download all of the CAD parts for the AndyMark frame, and I would do an assembly drawing of that part that day. That's just a pre-season activity that I think you should do. Download Autodesk Inventor, go through the process of putting that frame together. And for nothing else, it's going to help you gain scale of your mechanisms or prototyping or whatever else you have to do. Another thing I would recommend for a rookie team is to go with a common kit of parts. So we've drawn all our robots, and I have the CAD model. We have the CAD models or a picture of the CAD models for every one of our robots except for the 2008 robot, which there was a whole bunch of bad ideas. And then we ended up doing some stuff with some tubing that we weren't able to draw correctly in 2008 as mentors or as a team, as students. So that's our rookie robot, and of course the 2009 robot there. The 2009 robot, just a sound robot. We never hardly touched it at a regional mechanically. We just missed on concept on what to do or how to play that game that year. 2010 robot. First year we put transmissions in a tubing. And I think the next year Andy Mark was selling them, as far as transmissions in a tubing, or we recognized that they were selling them. I don't know when they started selling them.
What do you mean transmissions in a tubing?
So instead of coming with a kit of parts, we bought aluminum tubing and drilled and reamed the holes to put the bearings in and assembled the gears into a piece of tubing, mounted the motors to the tubing. We'll look at that real clearly here in a little bit and show you how we've done that. Some of the things I'm going to show you, if you're a rookie team or a new team, I don't know that I would recommend doing that, but if you don't ever do it or start thinking that way, you're not going to take that next step.
Well, it's not, don't try it for the first time necessarily in season.
Yeah.
Is
But a recommendation, yeah. I would almost always go with the kit of parts frame because it's very nicely done nowadays. If I was new to first, or if I was struggling from the design side. I just think it's smart. You get rolling, you get a rolling base, you get kids engaged faster, they understand how to put stuff together, pieces, parts are there. I just think it's smart for a new team.
but in the,
We've been at it 20 years. Our designers and our students both fight using kit of parts stuff, and we have design headaches every year. And
Well,
just build.
we've went away from it entirely
For the last couple of years.
few years, and you know, the thing that I found in the 5 or so years I've been involved with first is drive base, drive base, drive base, drive base.
Right.
Get it right, get it sound.
You
Don't
can't
have
drive
to touch
those
it,
expensive lawn
and
ornaments.
and get that part right.
We used a kit of parts drive base in 2013, and I'm going to tell you that's our best robot. By the end of the competition season, I think our OPR was 69th in the world.
Was
Uh,
13 kit of parts? It was C channel, wasn't it?
The Frisbee robot was kit of parts.
Is that what the kit of parts was then?
Yep.
And then 14 we used the AM1 for you.
Yeah. Am I wrong about that? Oh, look. All right. This one here, Alex, we did some pretty neat stuff down here, didn't we?
Yeah, that was a very, that was primarily, what was the game that year? It was to hang the
Yeah.
Inner tubes on the wall.
on the
Peg
wall.
board.
Kind of like rack and roll, only similar. So that's a double jointed arm. So the drive base wasn't particularly complex, but the arm mechanism was.
What we did in here, I think, was neat.
Yeah.
Two motors and the way we tied those transmissions together to make the shaft turn and make this arm work together. I don't think I got a lot of that CAD model. Rebound Rumble, very, very sound robot there. We did some stuff here with a steel locking pin off of an air cylinder to keep this down, to knock the ramp down that year. I don't know if you were involved that year, but it took a little more force than what people thought it was going to take to push that ramp down to drive up on it.
Yeah, it was a teeter-totter sort of ramp, and the end game was to try and get as many robots as you could on that teeter-totter. And so one of your alliance members had to be able to, move the ramp down so that your alliance could drive up. So that's the purpose of that swinging arm.
Second year we did a turret, a powered turret. Both times we've done a powered turret, we've not used it. Put a lot of design time in to having a turret that's powered until we can take our shot because we're imagining this is going to be some kind of great advantage. But both times we basically just kept it in one spot.
I would say that if you're going to camera track, though, a powered turret's the only way to be able to do it. To turn the whole robot, you just can't get flying enough. So if you're going to get to that point where you can camera track, you got to do that. And I think that was the goal with doing that, at least in 12.
That's what we were thinking. Well, we were
process.
thinking just make our shot from any angle with that turret, and not have to turn the robot. And we thought we could turn the. But really, we kept it simple. A lot of that is just these two rails and this belt drive system that intake the ball. That was a relatively simple design. Just two pieces of flat 1/8 inch aluminum here that we tied together with some standoffs. And that belting, which we really like and have used it a lot of different ways, that urethane belting that you can buy and melt together any distance you want from, we get it from MSC, Master.
I think it's 2-inch wide stuff.
Yep, that's that 2-inch belting. We've used that a couple of times. We've also used the same 4-inch polycord.
Yeah.
There's our best robot from a competition standpoint. We did everything wrong you could possibly do. But man, it just worked and it worked and it worked.
Yes.
That shoot full field.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a video I'll show you here.
And that would be
I
something
can't
that,
remember which ones shot full field that year and which ones didn't, but I know the ones that didn't. Like,
Well,
we shot full field, but we never did it
Yeah.
on the field because we were too short.
We're too short.
Oh, okay.
So we could make it, but you had to be tall to shoot full field that year. Well, it was too easy to block.
Yeah.
The thing I've seen about throwing objects though, in the time that we've done it, is chuck it as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Because it seems to give you a better shot pattern.
It's kind of been our approach most years, just throw it as hard as you can. It's just being like, we had a 3-wheel here, and each successive drive was a little bit faster. This last one, we were running wide open 1-to-1 on a 550 motor, 750 motor. That's spooled at 19,000 RPM. We had a weight on here. That's something we learned this year. I argued with Alex, it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And Alex says, yeah, we put a weight on the jump. And so Alex was right. That momentum, keeping her spinning, our shot didn't die, and it really increased our accuracy. So we fed it
Put a weight on what?
On the
Put a
wheel.
weight on the wheel, so once
So
you
you
get
make
that
a five-
momentum going,
Just to increase.
So once you get the momentum in the wheel, then when the ball goes in there, it doesn't shock.
Slow it down.
The RPMs out.
you know, yes. And Alex is our smart guy. We just
Yeah.
we go to
Not
Alex.
so smart
What
when
do
I'm
you,
rich.
what do you think, Alex? What should we do? Should this going to be okay? Is this crazy? But anyway,
And I mean, so let's clarify that we basically defer to the students when it comes to their design preferences. So our design process starts really with, review of the kickoff.
we're going to go through all that.
Okay.
All that's coming up. I didn't spend on much time on these. We can go through these pictures. This is how much I believe in drawing a robot. This isn't my presentation. This is just our robots. I could tell you a story about every one of them. Just a beautiful, beautiful robot. We did a lot of things right. We'll come back and talk about that. That stacking game, beautiful looking robot. We pulled off a wonderful cascading elevator. But again, we missed on some other ideas. This was our really bad CAD year, where we had parts going through parts that just after we bagged it. And it's a miracle that we recovered to where we did.
And a fantastic autonomous.
We had one of the best autonomouses I'd seen that year, in my opinion, besides the team that did it all.
We bagged that robot, we had no way to pick up a tote.
Yeah, bad guy robot, you couldn't.
And the parts that we had designed to pick up the tote went through other parts and did not work.
Yeah. Last year's robot, I think we had one of the best shots that I saw. We had a dead shot, and
I think at the end of the season, we were the second most accurate robot in the mile.
we learned how to shoot. We learned how to we know how to shoot a ball. We think we're getting pretty good at that. What we learned there was a lot of times we went 2-wheel. We think one wheel is always the way to go. But when you got to process a ball through a robot, sometimes you get different things that can happen.
So one wheel spinning and a chute to let the ball roll
Yeah.
against?
You got to really pay attention to that contact area. And that's what we played around with to try to get the best shot we could. And how much we're squeezing it when, how much we stop squeezing it, where we let it go. You can't let it pop out at the end and have the balls shake, deflect your shot. Those are things like that we learned with the 2-wheel shooter, with the basketball shooter. That basketball robot was a really, really good robot, but our shot wasn't consistent. We had a veteran team, good drivers. We learned that you pressing a ball between 2 wheels and letting it come out like that causes it. One of the things that caused a flight problem or a shot consistency problem. I think we nailed our shot consistency last year because of lessons learned.
And what we did is we squeezed the ball down probably about 2 inches off the center wheel, and then as it came out, then that compression got less and less until the ball was still under the hood, but there was no contact.
Yeah, very little contact right when it came out. So that's what we found worked for us with that particular ball.
So we just figured out where we wanted to compress it to, found the point up at the top where we wanted it, and then just kind of drew the arc from there.
And of course, Steamworks, this is where we're at on our robot so far.
Is that the name of the game?
Yes, and now take particular attention to STEAM. That's a new buzzword. Remember, it was just STEM.
Right, not arts.
Now it's STEAM. So
Water
everybody's
game.
imagining this is an art. This is going to be an art game. There's going to be an art spin on the game because of that STEAM works. Science, technology.
No, I thought it was water because of steam,
Yeah. I don't think we're getting a water game. But anyway, that's just fun speculation, in my opinion. All right, so this is how we do things. We watch kickoff together in a room together. We go through the rules as a team. And usually we go through them twice, sometimes 3 times. Then we tell them to go home and read them again. We divide our team members into brain-turning subgroups. And I do that. I take my veterans and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys are the team captains. Then I go through and just have the rest of them count off if they're the inexperienced people. If I have more than 5 experienced people in the room, or what I consider veteran team members, I put 2 of them on a team. Or if I have 1 really strong person and 2 are kind of not, then I put them on a team together. This is just a brainstorming sub-team.
Yeah, normally for what it's worth, we've got about 22 is the most we've ever had.
22, what I would call participators. You know, we might get as high as 30 kids to come out, but you got 20 that are engaged, and
that's a really good year.
yes, and those are tough things to do. Engaging that many kids.
We had a coach call it bacon and eggs. The chicken was involved in breakfast, the pig was committed.
So what we task them with is coming up with a robot concept, a drive-based decision, and then we ask them to justify it. And so many times during this first initial going through the rules, we've done a really good job of analyzing the scoring system, talking about the scoring system so that we understand what kind of a robot we think is going to play the game well. And in some years, there's different types of robots. When I think about different types of robots, it's hard to be everything and do it all. But you want to be able to contribute to an alliance. In 2007, the ramps were like an afterthought for us. But last year, those robots, that's all they were ramp robots that folded out to drive up on the end to get that end game points. So that's what we asked them to come back. We let them go the rest of the day, Saturday, Sunday, and usually Monday night. We have them give a presentation about what their team. And that comes they bring drawings, whiteboard work, pictures, paper, whatever they brainstorm. We're taking a new approach this year in that regard, and really trying to make our Fab Lab a big part of that. So right now in our preseason training, we're doing some Fab Lab training. Anybody know what a Fab Lab is?
Quick prototype?
Huh?
Quick, like rapid prototype?
Yeah, well, a Fab Lab is a
concept generated by MIT, and it's basically a little lab where you can build basically anything as the concept. So it's got 3D printers, we've got a CNC router in ours,
laser
we've
cutters.
got laser cutters, which we use quite frequently and heavily, and then the CNC router.
We're going to show you some of that in a minute, and how we do things. If you got a laser cutter, just 24 by 60 laser cutter, 60 watt, fairly affordable now,
Yeah, they're getting.
I would say.
How affordable, and if you happen to know, where can we get it?
Well, Epilogue makes them. There's a lot of different manufacturers.
We're talking like 10,000 or
I
2,000?
would say they're.
They're about 5, aren't they?
4 to 5, I think you can get a pretty
Yeah, I
decent
think you
one
can get a
nowadays.
decent one for that. I would say you might spend up to 10. They've just come out now. It's in a Kickstarter program. I'm curious to see how it goes, but they've come out with the first desktop water jet printer, where it'll actually water jet cut, but it's only got about a 2 foot by 2 foot work area, and it's not expected out for another year because it's in Kickstarter form right now. But I think that'll start to revolutionize stuff, and it's going to market for around $5-6 grand.
And the Fab Lab is really part of the school's program.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
really
ours.
not associated directly with the
Correct.
team. And we have a little bit of crossover.
And the Fab Lab concept, and this is for every guy. A guy has an idea, but he's not a CAD guy. He just learns just Corel Draw, produce a DXF, send the shape out. Hey, I can make this mechanism move. Things we've done in the past with, at that night, we make a team drive-based decision. I know that even seems late for a lot of teams because the wheels you wanted are 3 weeks back-ordered.
Pneumatics.
You know what I mean? Those kinds of things happen to you, but our kids have to run the team. Our kids have to have the ideas. Our kids have to be engaged in all of the processes. They're not ready to make a drive-based decision on Saturday. Mentors aren't.
And I think it comes back to drive-based. Get it right.
Yeah.
Take the extra time to get that decision right, in
What
my
do you think
opinion.
about buying a library of wheels ahead of time?
Well, yeah, I've considered that myself, even just, I had that thought a couple days ago. I shouldn't order a few wheels.
Right.
You know, we spent $600
Well, yeah, what are you
on
gonna
pneumatic
do?
wheels last year.
Yeah,
So
right.
can you know, obviously if you can do it, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it may be sort of you can do over years, like
Yeah.
this year we're gonna buy these 3 kinds of wheat, we're gonna buy 3 kinds of those every year.
Mhm.
And after 6 years, we've got a
Yeah.
full
And
library.
we've got, now that we've kept and been around,
Yeah.
we've got quite a,
We've standardized too. We don't necessarily buy the latest and greatest, available or make something completely from scratch every year.
Yeah.
Once we find something that we like, we tend to stick with it year to year.
That bolt hole pattern that they're putting on the wheels that Andy Mark sells and Vex Pro sells, and the Vex Pro products for Versa hubs, you just can't beat that slickness of going into driving off of a motor, driving off of a transmission, changing a wheel decision from, I just think that, I think you use that.
it's an inch and an eighth hole.
Bolt hole, yeah, it's a common bolt hole circle that bolts everything. You got the hex, you got the 3/8, you got the key. I mean, I just don't know how you don't stay with that kind of a thing.
And you get the benefits of when they find a problem with their design or their production,
Yes.
they're in charge of fixing it.
Right.
Your team can focus on, building a creative robot.
Like the broken plastic wheels from the Kidder Parts wheel from that 2013.
Yeah.
So, and they made design changes based on strengths of those wheels and what's happened to them throughout the course of a first season. Prototyping is something we believe heavily in. We started out using cardboard, sticks, draw it out, imagine the motion. We take old pieces, parts, we'll find a spring we like, and we'll test it, we'll pull back on it, we'll punch something. We strongly believe in prototyping. My caution there is to be safe. I think that when you start to put power to things and pulling springs back and punching things, I have a video, which I couldn't find it, and I've seen it in a couple of years, but I have a video where we were preloading some springs to take that 2008 ball, it was 40 inches in diameter anyway, a huge ball, that we threw clear up into the, I'm telling you, we must have thrown that thing 20 feet in the air, prototyping. Of course, that year you had to throw it over the overdrive bar when you were making laps and racing. So, but just be careful if you're doing that kind of stuff. And we've done that since the beginning. Now we're at the point where we're powering and testing our prototypes. And Dan, I'll let Dan talk about that.
This goes back to the Fab Lab concept. So we wanted to hang last year and we got really close and just didn't make it happen. But we'll go through and just quick prototype an arm length, cut it out on the laser engraver. It took us 30 minutes tops to create this prototype because of
What is
the
material?
facility. This is just Luan, so this is just 1/4 inch Luan.
We
So
ran
all
it
it did was proof of
laser.
concept, right? We put some surgical tubing on it to prove that we could get it in and then.
2 pieces was not enough travel
Yeah.
in our laser
Because
cutter.
of our,
Ended up with this. We were so close to a hang last year, we had to power PTO out of our transmissions. And the only reason we didn't put it on is because we had too good of a shot, and we had a solid robot, and we didn't want to justify, wreck that in the process of trying to hang,
we couldn't deploy it.
because we really wanted to hang that.
What we were trying to do was, you can see springs on here, we were trying to deploy those springs.
No, we didn't have a,
When it popped out, it would just, we were afraid it would come out of the
break the
zone
rules,
and everything.
15-inch out of your frame rule.
And then we saw somebody else deploy it and hit us that we had done that
Yeah.
exact
Oh,
same
we're
motion
idiots.
earlier in the season with
Yeah, we're
fingers.
idiots.
And we can talk about those fingers at some
Yeah.
point here. And
Yeah.
we had some, we thought originally, we'll go through this.
Okay,
Let's do this.
This was the prototyping. I'm telling you, I think it was even less than that, but I was being conservative. I think this was like January 11th or 12th of that build season. 6 or 7 days in. We did the Andy Mark frame. We went with
Get
it.
it parts, right?
Get a parts. Get a parts.
One for you.
And we put that together, and that was not that was the first year they had that frame, the first year they came out with it. And so we had a rolling base really quick, and then all that was cut out that design was thought of, and I'll take you to our build blog here in a minute on that here.
Go to
because
the next page, we got a video
So
of how we
operational
prototype.
prototype in 8 days?
Yeah, I'm telling you, this was our robot 8 days into build.
We had, that was.
That's not
So
always-
would that be our target, or is that?
Oh, no,
No,
jeez.
no, this was.
I'm telling you, I'll talk about this season in a minute, because I went back to, Alex's daughter joined our team in 2011 as a freshman. And wide-eyed, she'd already been around, she was button girl before that, she'd been with us since 2007. Just a really good kid. And then we also had another kid that had taken a Vex robotics camp for us, and just a really bright boy that just caught on right away. His eyes were wide open as a freshman, and he kind of watched it all happen. He grew into that student drew every single part on that robot. And I mean, I gotta get it up.
And that year, we didn't fab parts until the CAD model was done.
That year's
the only year we've ever done it.
Perfect. That was the perfect how you'd like to do it.
We had 3 days this season at the beginning of the year that we lost to snow days, and we had
Yeah, I gotta show you
on
that.
our website. We had a sharing forum
Yeah.
space for ourselves.
I got
So we
that
shared ideas
ready to share if we have time to look at
and
it.
threw this in, and then when we came back, we had this concept and we drew this up. But this is the beauty of prototyping out of the wood and having the CNC router right there.
This
We
is
drew
just
that.
what we had, we're 20 years.
Mhm.
We have engineers that will design up to week 5.8 and expect everything to just be, well, ideally, welcome to another,
It never works like that.
We have to get this.
You guys-
This was the first year we had a complete prototype like that, where we had basically the entire thing.
What would you say is a good sort of, you've got to be driving a base with some sort of moderately functional, complete robot by 3 weeks, by 4 weeks? When would you say, boy, if you don't have this happening by this date?
I would love to see the drive base rolling in 10 days and then be prototyping on top of it would be my
Pretty standard
ideal.
first thought,
You
to
know.
have a rolling base then at 2 weeks and then.
When you say rolling, you mean driving?
Driving,
Or
yes,
rolling?
because you listen, driver, drive time, drive base, and then my kids go-kart raced, and they would come off the cart, go off the track, mad, and they never, I'd change this, I'd change that, I'd gear this, I'd move this, seat time, Chili, you gotta have a driver, get that base rolling, let somebody learn to drive it, because when the lights come on and the pressure, that's a difficult thing for them kids to deal with.
Yeah, the headache that we get into is we get no practice time.
Yes, I know.
Not
but,
even
you know,
two. And then we
Yeah.
learn at the first regional what we should have learned in practice. And we
Yes,
learn the
that's
second
true.
regional what we should have learned in the first
Yeah.
regional, and you never catch up.
Yeah.
We go through that.
Uh,
And the other thing we'll do too is we've got a couple old rolling bases. We won't necessarily even prototype on our current rolling base. Like we've got a video from last year's where we prototyped. We just bolted it onto an old frame that was just laying around. That had the wheel height that we wanted, so we could roll around and see that we could pick the ball up.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be necessarily your rolling base, but this is the video of that prototype and how we.
Yeah, last year we tried to build 2 robots, the thought being that we can practice with the second one after the first one's in the bag.
yeah.
And amazingly, the engineers kept tinkering and wouldn't let us practice with the second robot.
Yeah.
Well, somebody has to be in my situation, my thought is, we have those things too. I want to do this and somebody else wants to do that, but at some point you got to be smart. And you got to
Yeah.
stop and and do those things.
We had a mentor one year that says at some point during the season, the engineers have to be shot and drivers have to be let to practice because they won't stop designing it.
While he's bringing up that video, something we believe in, I've already said we believe in CAD, we believe in CAD, we believe in CAD. We've been producing CAD drawings for making our prints for our parts ever since we've been doing CAD. I don't know why it took us so long, but in 2013 we started producing a book to share with judges or share in our kits of individual parts, and this was our dirty copy. I couldn't find the regular copy. This was our shop copy, and this is one of our goals every year is to have this CAD book happen. Some years it does, and some years it doesn't, based on the students that we have that know CAD. Last year we had a very inexperienced, unmotivated CAD people. So,
Inexperienced.
so no, I'm not
I was it.
talking about mentor, I'm talking about students. That's the year there that student just drew every part on that robot, produced every print on that robot. Just a wonderful, wonderful, his experiences from his 8th grade year till he graduated from our team. He just was around a lot of smart people.
And he's the one that founded the Stellar.
Yeah, he's running a new team now, 54-13.
Yeah,
And
a lot of man
just a
skills.
smart boy to begin with.
And they just shot up to the tops of the
But
to the rank too.
yeah, they've done a nice
They've never
job.
had a bad season.
Yeah, they haven't had a bad season at all, but they had some very, very experienced people start that team. Just good people and a absolute good kid and a smart boy, and you can't give him enough credit. But Lydia, Alex's daughter, was the fabrication team captain. Orion Deo, who started 54-13, was the CAD captain. And they ran the meetings, they ran the team, probably our most successful student-led team. I think we're in position now for that to happen this year and next year, because I got some kids that are ready now. But
And they've been back for several years too.
You never know. Yes, and 13 was good too, and 12 was good. And here, let's play the video.
So this is our goal with prototypes, is to be able to power it. I mean, see proof that it works. This year we had the drive face driving, so we were able to just drive up and verify it. We knew when we went to fabbing it that it was going to work.
And that was at 10 days.
That was 10 days. I think it might even be less.
But it was close.
And that's plywood?
That's just plywood, yeah, the good stuff.
Laser cut plywood?
30, we
That
cut
was
on no
CNC
CNC router. That was CNC router.
Because that was all 3/4 inch plywood.
How much of the CNC router were you?
I don't know what we want to use when they started our fab lab, and those are, like I said, that's a different lab. It's not from our team, but of course it's at our school, we can use it. But I think they got a good deal on that. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
4,000 or 5,000, I'd say. You can
And,
get a decent one, I would say, maybe not. ShopBot is out there. We don't buy any of the equipment with the team money. That's all. We're just blessed to have
Yes.
some
We're at
really
a career
serious
center.
fab.
We have
Right.
I have a full functioning machine shop, CNC lathe, CNC mill, manual lathes, manual mills, you name it, CNC
We've had
flat
school
wood.
issues with regard to getting on the good machines. The shop teacher won't let us on the good machines. We're allowed the 1940s technology.
That shop teacher needs to join the team.
But we've been asking, so I'm not coming back to the school after I'm done with the day.
Yeah, we don't do anything during the school day, especially with what we teach in the engineering program. You can't take classroom time away from what we teach in the classes.
Right.
Everything we do happens after school. I'd say 100%. This is some prototyping from last year. Again, we were trying to figure out, I had a bunch of arms, iterations of this arm, and I forgot to bring them. I laid them on the table when I was in a hurry to leave work on Friday afternoon, and all I remember was this stuff. But we can show you here that too.
And this is what I was talking about too. This wasn't the rolling base we used. We just had it laying around, so we threw it on there
Yeah.
to enough time stuff. Yeah, you can do any of them.
Yeah, good.
To the top two, I guess.
Go full screen on that.
Yeah, it's hitting them.
I can't get to it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So,
okay.
and as you're, just out of curiosity, I'm not trying to pick the details, as you're picking up on the arm with your right hand is sort of lifting the arm? Is
Yeah, it's
No.
not power. We were just trying to figure positions. See how the
I was
ball
keeping
comes
pressure
through.
down on it because we didn't have anything holding it down.
Okay.
And so it was bouncing. And so
Right.
we knew it would be positioned. So I was
Right.
just holding pressure down on it so
No,
it
it
wouldn't be
would be
sitting there
heavier
and
when it was
bouncing
the
on
real
ball.
deal. Okay.
Because we were squeezing that ball inside those.
Right, you
those
never want to have
bumpers.
that design where the engineer says, no, it'll be okay, just drive up, I'll hold it here. Well, no, you can't put it there.
Yeah, that's unrealistic.
Yeah, you know how painful it is to watch your team try to chase down a ball on the field? On the sand?
Yes, I do.
We were like, we're not doing that. We're going to get that ball automatically. And so those are lessons learned. We watched our team painfully chase the ball around the field.
And this was,
Yeah, we used to have a rule of thumb, by the time you touch it, until you have control of it, just 2 seconds maximum.
Okay, this is
Otherwise, you need a new design.
Right.
yeah, this was pretty close to our, ended up being pretty close to what we ended up with.
And we have forbidden the use of the word hopefully. Well, hopefully this will, no. If the physics aren't there for it, forget it.
We're big fans of the spinning roller and the helical wound
Yeah.
Is that
quarter-inch.
We've done that a lot.
Wound stuff, is it polycord?
Yeah, that's the polycord,
You know,
keep them melt
master
together. We've done that, you know, I've usually seen teams do it with a massive set of rollers and a bunch of those cords connected together and bring them in like that. That's where and that's in the strap ball gear lunacy. That's what the concept you really had to have. You had to really bring them in all at once and gobble them up and spit them out. And here we were processing one ball at a time.
That was
So,
us.
nice robot, but missed on concept.
this was a concept we thought we needed with the fingers last year. We really thought that as we lift it up, it would be really cool if as it come down, those fingers extended out to pick up the ball.
And to get, maybe get the,
So if you watch this, if this
Well,
goes
the
down,
freeze.
turn in there, it pulled those fingers in and out, and that was going to keep them from being able to go outside the 15 inches.
use a 4-bar linkage.
When we got up here, we figured out, well, if we pick up the portcullis, how do we get it on over?
Yeah.
Right.
Because we got all this.
So that idea got thrown out, but
Um,
through prototyping, we learned that, wait a second, this won't work.
This was the concept we should have used to deploy the arms.
Yes,
So
once we threw it out, we couldn't remember it ever again.
Yeah. What we did is we bolted a pulley to this A-frame, which was fixed, and then we had a belt going out that was bolted to this front arm. So as that rolled up around, it rolls the belt around the fixed pulley on the back and pulls, makes the arms turn.
And like I
And
said,
that's
you
what we
know,
should have done.
we'd have had a hang, and we'd have been there at first, yeah, for sure at second regional if we would have recognized that in time or thought of that in time. Because we were there on all kinds of other issues. We had plenty of power. Just deploying this is why we didn't get to a hang.
So you may notice that we don't throw away parts. I mean, we have a big room full of COTS, used COTS parts
Yeah, and-
that we use for the prototyping.
Yeah.
If you have to order something to prototype it,
You defeated the purpose.
well,
Yeah,
and it's real tough for young teams.
Those rollers were from an old roller.
Yeah.
All we did was go in and pick them up and put them on.
That's about right, grab that one. The room, we're trying to clean right now, because as you can imagine, it's a mess. We got stuff in there we'd never use again, just because I don't throw anything away. But found a brand new Andy Mark kit of parts frame in there in the box we never even touched. I said, what are you going to do with that? And I said, keep it, who knows what we'll make out of that. So we believe in prototyping, and listen, if you don't have the machinery to do that, I would get cardboard out, and I'd cut pieces out, I'd punch a hole in it, I'd use a string. I just so much believe in getting mechanisms and things and sizes designed in that way.
As a proof of concept, you gotta be able to see it work, at least I do. I gotta be able to see it working to find the problems with it. I'm not good at
The kids,
visualizing
we've even done
problems.
The kids don't have an idea.
Yeah.
We've even used graph paper popped into a PowerPoint and like just said, okay, well that reach up high enough anyway
Yeah.
for all this
Yeah.
stuff and still be inside the footprint. But I'm with you, you gotta build it.
So now we're going to get a little more into some of the designs we've done. We have a few CAD models loaded up. I don't know, with us, and we'll just see where we get. And again, if you want to stop and look closer at anything, just stop us at any point. This was
This is 2015.
2015.
This is what we were talking about, transmissions in the tube.
And so, Dan, why don't you go ahead and talk about what we did with the motors, flipping it around, and the gear, and
Basically, all we did was use the tubing as support for the bearings and the shafts for the gear train. And so, normally, this gear train, you'd end up with your motor coming back this way. And we needed to keep the middle open because we wanted to be able to get our totes in there. So all we did was add an extra gear. We just added an extra idler gear. Didn't change the gear ratio or anything. That moved our motors far enough that then we were able to flip them around and put them back here where the wheels were, and got them out of the center.
Concept-wise, if they give us the option to use 6 motors on the drive base, we'll design
Yes.
for 6. We may take one out later, but when in doubt, overpower the drive base. I mean, just as a fundamental concept.
And coming back to the Andy Mark transmission, I'm going to keep giving Andy Mark commercials here today, but we like Andy Mark, but we like Vex Pro too, we like them all, but their kits are designed so you can put the transmission where you need to put it, where you want to put it, in the middle, in the back, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and there's things already designed into those that we've been doing as well.
Do you generally advocate 6 wheels or 4, or do you depend on the game?
You know, we kind of like the old tried and true 6-wheel drive center drop, but we're not afraid to go machinum or go whatever.
The wing 6 center drop.
Drop center so it'll turn. You have to drop that center
So
wheel.
it's a slight.
You can't turn on 6 wheels, you won't. Last year,
Right, I mean, in other words, if it were perfectly level, the front and back would be off the
Yeah.
ground.
This is exaggerated,
Yeah.
but we'll put, what, about 150 thousandths usually? of
yeah, that's
drop
what we
in
do.
it.
Last year we went more because of pneumatic tires.
And so your rear tires, and if you do 8-wheel drive, then your middle 2, you have 2. You have 2 down on the ground and just your ends lifted up.
Yeah.
So we've never done a tank tread design.
No, and our kids wanted too bad last year, and I chased them off it because pieces, parts, and I don't know that tank drive was a wrong decision last year, don't get me wrong. I still got one of the kids that are on the team this year that, see Mac, see?
No,
We did it last
8-wheel
year,
drive,
I'm
stuff in
sure
those
it did anything
wheels
much
tight.
more than 6 wheels would have done.
Yeah, and
We
well,
made it work.
what I worry about is I'm a mechanical guy, I'm a machinist, that's what my background is, and I worry about pieces, parts, lining up, fitting, and tracking, and that's what made me not want to do a track system for us. Then when Andy Mark's got one, and I said, well, you know,
It was brand new.
let's let somebody else figure out the problems with that
Yeah.
thing. And I don't know that there was, or that there was any bad engineering there. I'm just saying, we didn't want to figure that out during build season.
And that's, that's the decision that we go through early on in that process on that, say, Monday night, we're making a decision on drive base. We're deciding what kind of wheels. Are we going 6-wheel? Are we going machinum? Are we going to go 8-wheel, pneumatics? What are we doing? So we're making that decision and then sticking with it and going.
So as part of our preseason training, we teach the kids the different types and what they're known to be good for.
Yeah, so we're not one of those teams. I mean, some teams say, oh, if you elect to use a machinum drive base, you'll never
Make it
succeed.
to Einstein.
Yeah.
The famous, no machinum drive system's ever been on Einstein. I don't know, is that still true?
I don't know. The Curie curse too. These
Yeah.
urban
Yeah.
legends.
And so we've ignored those. And at times, I think, I'm telling you, 2010, Alex's drive control system and the driver we had that year in the machining system, I'm convinced is what won us awards and what made that robot make it to nationals. Because we could play defense, and we could play defense very well and play goalie with that system. And some of that had to do with how we had the programming set of it, some of it had to do with an experienced senior driver. Build blogs. We have one of our own we're going to share with you here in a second, but we are just not ashamed to look at something and copy it.
That's one of the things we're good at.
I really do think that's one of our strengths is we saw a really good mini-bot. A week later, our next regional, we had one of the best mini-bots in the country.
Can you email this?
I'll give you anything you want.
Jot down that entire item.
Yeah. So this team blog here I'm going to show you first is ours, and you can't get to that because you got to be a team member to sign into that page. So we got to go there first, and I have to sign in. Oh, I am already signed in. Oh, I remembered to sign in. And come down a little bit, Alex, there on the bar. Click on Build Blog Part 1. Okay, this was the year we were talking about. All right, we are snowed in home. We're at home, snowed in at some of this stuff, and I'll point it out. But this is a blog of what we did and how we did it. This is some conclusions we came to. This was our brainstorming, possible robot designs. These are what the kids presented out. These are some of the drive bases that came out of those discussions. early sketches, concepts to catch that big ball like that. A lot of stuff we saw from other teams I thought was pretty neat, some of our kids. Just a crude concept of where we ended up at. Just a little smartboard drawing of, hey, wait a second, if we can bring it in, and how are we going to bring it, maybe without a catch, and thinking about trajectory, what we wanted to do with the ball, low goal shot, somebody else's design, just the sharing of ideas there, how we might push it. Some initial sketching. This stuff here was occurred. Now we're back to Orion, the student we had that just dug in, and he's at home sharing this on this website. We're internally sharing. We're commenting back and forth between the kids and mentors, sharing sketches, and so this is how we got there that year. Just different concepts for bringing the ball in.
We went through a lot of design iterations, as you can see there too. I mean, we went from different types of rollers to bring it in to ending up in that wide.
This is our Yehovah machine shop. Freshman on the team now, team captain, senior. Freshman on the team in this picture, but senior now. Drive base gone together. Of course, the building of the field. Let's see here, let's go back here. Let me wait. This was 111. I kick off that way. There was second or third or fourth. It was really easy. So early on.
There's where we're cutting the parts on the.
Yes, this is the router.
This is our router, making up them parts. Yep.
Just plywood. We can't use it for any metal.
Yeah, we don't. Some design iterations. Like everybody got safety glasses on, that's good. Tech team this year, stop talking about this. A couple of years now we've done some fun stuff with, we had an Oculus Rift, and nobody else had an Oculus Rift necessarily. We had a team that was developing some Oculus Rift videos. We created a museum where you could put on the Oculus Rift and go in there and look at pictures of our old robots in this museum.
What is Oculus Rift?
Oculus Rift is a 3D visualization system. It's what the gaming is going to. You can see people
Virtual
wearing
reality.
virtual reality headgear. We're in a 3D world. Just some people over there doing that cool stuff that year. And this goes on. There's some more parts. We'll click on part 2 and look at it real quick. This is Lydia's world right here. Lydia was tracking this, keeping track of the prints. So we had a whip, work in progress table, tracking which parts are where, and you can see we had many parts of any kind. We do build 2 robots. We try to build 2 identical robots. That's always hard to do.
Like at the same time?
Yeah. Practice robot. We weren't allowed for a couple of years there. You weren't allowed to say practice robot. That just meant a piece of crap that didn't work.
Well,
As good as it should. You can't fight your practice robot and learn anything from it.
There you go.
There they are, twins. Me and Dan were bored. We didn't know what to do. We had such a good kids that we're thinking, oh, hey, let's CNC NASA and decide that transmission.
We put the name
Oh,
of
we
the
put
robot in the
dartboards
sprocket.
in the sprocket because we were bored. We literally were standing off to the side.
We were
They were
119.8
running
pounds.
the team meetings. They were coming back and reporting to us at the end of the night. This is what we did. This is where we're at on this. And this is where we're at on that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's always the goal.
Okay, now
Let's
listen.
get there.
That happened because first you had capable freshmen that were wide-eyed and wanted to do it and caught the first bug. So they have to be,
There's our youngest team member.
Yeah,
Sarah,
there's
my son.
Yes, you've got to get them started earlier. We're determined on that. This is our lab at Firelands College. So not only do we have one machine shop, we have 2 machine shops. No, that's not true anymore. That's true. This lab is all torn down, and the second floor was put in there, and there's a new space that's about a third of that size that some of these machines are in. There's lathes and mills, but we don't do anything over there. Besides, I teach my industrial tech students, my engineering students, in one class in there.
We bought that carpet probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And
Had a mentor make these little wooden sides and keep recycling them every year. We were set up at the NASA open house with all of that this summer.
Well, yeah, 120, you guys did the GRC one, and we did the Plum Brook one.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, yep. We had a nice following. We had 5413 came out. We had quite a nice show for everybody.
Is it a full-size deal? I can't tell.
Pretty close. We got pretty close. Not quite.
That was 3/4 right there.
Yeah, that's all we could fit in that space.
Usually we end up with a half or.
Usually we got half. We got no place to put it. Right now I got a third of a field living inside the machine shop. I got everything pushed to the sides.
It's probably got about 12 foot.
Yeah,
Maximum.
and I got my biggest problem in there is I got, the most important thing that Dan and I do is teach. Robotics happens after school and it begins to consume you. Being a
But then you already do that because you're here on a Saturday.
yeah. All right, and this is where Robo Wranglers, share your blogs. Just a really good team. I don't know if that link will. Did that link work?
Yeah, that one will.
Okay. This is their blog. We found it. I said, wow, these guys got it going on. They're sharp. And so we mimicked it. So we read through. They give you some advice. They give you their CAD model of their drawing. And very well done. Just a smart veteran team. The likes of 1114 and all of the people you know of. A lot of these teams are really good at sharing their information. What they do and how they do things. And we're not afraid to go read it and learn from them. And that was their off-season rolling base. We thought, well, we can do that. And we did. And we have a full functioning machine shop. Not one of those parts was made in our machine shop. All of that stuff was just like they do it. We produced a CAD model. We asked somebody to laser cut them out for us and bend them up for us. We got them back and we assembled them. Not who we want to be, not who we think we should be because of what we have, our career center, where we're at. Learned a ton.
And we did this off season.
And we did that all season and never used it.
I would never bite off something this big on something as important as your drive base in season. If you've never done like a sheet metal frame, I wouldn't try to do a sheet metal frame if you've never done one in season. We learned a ton from this. Still haven't used it, but we have it in our hip pocket.
And we probably need to start wrapping up with time. So.
All right. Adam Hurd from Team 973. I am just a huge fan of him. Go watch his videos. Smart guy. That we watched his elevator videos, come up with our own elevator. We've done a couple of cams. We did a traditional cam shape here. That's how we kicked the ball in 2010. We did a choo-choo cam. This is how a choo-choo cam works. It wraps around itself and loads until it gets to the release point. As you can see, the blue bar goes underneath the red bar goes over top of that pinch point. This mechanism loads up and locks and stops, and as soon as you go farther, it releases and punch. We figured out all those distances based on picking out a screen. Spring. I think Alex went down to Lowe's or somewhere. He said, "Wow, that looks like a pretty good spring." So we'll get 4 of them. We saw how much we pulled them back, how much force it took to punch the ball. And that's how we got there.
And here's our mistake. We left a wrench in a transmission on
See,
accident.
we forgot to take the wrench out. Everybody knows why the wrench is in there, right?
Back driving the transmission.
Free brake. We didn't invent that either.
There's a ratcheting.
It's a ratcheting wrench. You got a free brake. The transmission's not going to back drive. You got all that force holding your punch ready to go. Your tranny's not going to back drive. You don't have to put power in the motor, make your electrical guy mad, blow breakers. You got a wrench, a ratcheting wrench in there.
Oh, it just goes
These
in.
kinds of things can be dangerous. Be careful, careful, careful.
Just goes in and sets up.
You
the
can
disk.
apply that in a lot of places. In other places, a lift, staying at the top when the buzzer goes out so your robot don't drift down. Again, we've seen other teams doing it in a different way. We thought, wow, what a great idea.
And that's our last slide.
And that's our last slide. We will share this PowerPoint with Katie, and anybody can have it. And listen, we're down the road in Milan, Ohio.
Where is that?
It's just south of Cedar Point.
Okay, west side of Cleveland.
South side, yeah, south side, Cedar Point.
West of.
I have a machine shop, you come see me, you can come talk to me, I'll machine something for you. You call me come in on a Saturday, bring a couple team members down. I'm all about that. Anything and everything you need. Of course, we'll be busy building our own robot. So
We
I'm
might
careful,
come
but
before the season starts, get some ideas.
But I'll share, right now we're meeting on Wednesday nights with the kids, and we've been doing Fab Lab training, because I'm telling you right now, the secret is in the Fab Lab. If you've got a Fab Lab or access to a Fab Lab, get your concept down, get your prototyping done out of there. We power our prototypes again.
Are there any in the Cleveland area?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Case Western.
I was told there was one here. You guys got one here?
Yes,
Yes, yes. Use it. Prototype. We got a CNC router?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got, yes, use it. We'll share this PowerPoint.
Case Western Fab Lab's open to the public too, so if you're in
Yeah,
the Cleveland area, you can go
The
there.
Think Box from Case Western, is that new building open yet?
Yeah, we're going to have to probably end up because we're just about ready for the next session.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We were honored and proud to be here, and we love the First Community.
Thank you.
This was excellent. Thank you so much.